Okay, so this is Titanfall 2, and this is me, Simon, with another first 5 minutes video. I've not done one of these for a very, very long time. Apologies for that. Hopefully I have not forgotten how to do it. Okay, so we're going to start off the game, and as usual I will start the timer from as soon as we have an interactive moment in the game. So this opening cinematic does not count. We will start counting 5 minutes as soon as we can actually do something, and we'll see how well Titanfall handles the opening to the game. So I'm going to skip through this bit because I don't want you to have to sit through the entire cinematic. As cool as it is, it'd be better that you get to experience that for the first time when you get to play it yourself.
I hope I can live up to the honor.
Okay, so from here on we can actually start to interact with the game, and we open with some opening titles, which is immediately intriguing, and a visually impressive first shot. We have our first character. Actually our first two characters, because we have Captain Lastimosa here, who's essentially our mentor guy, and then in the background there we have BT, the robot, but we only get a glimpse of it before we get closed up in this VR simulation. This is a nice little bit of training here, just to make sure that your mouse or controller is set up okay. Unfortunately it pops up that menu, which seems a bit of a shame because it takes you out of the kind of immersive experience, which is a shame because they put a lot of effort into making everything else really natural. But once that menu's out of the way, we're then into the game properly. And it's from this point onwards that Titanfall 2's single player starts to really surprise. Because although it's essentially a shooter with big stompy robots, it never misses an opportunity to do something interesting. So straight away we have this kind of weird river, this little stream where the water's emerging out of it. And now Lastimosa starts to not only tell us how to play, but also introduces the world at the same time. So this is a kind of virtual reality environment. It's deliberately slightly surreal. Already there's opportunities here to start wall running, but as a new player you don't realise, and everything about Titanfall single player is that if you replay it again you start to notice all the little bits and pieces you can do that you didn't even realise the first time round. So again, we've got this weird water floating upwards. It's our first big vista.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Lastimosa has based this on his home planet, so this could have just been a kind of deliberately abstract environment, but it's being used to tell something about the character and about this faction that we're fighting for. This isn't just a kind of 100% virtual reality environment, it's teaching us about who these people are and why they're fighting.
Let's make sure you jump.
So Titanfall's unusual in the amount of parkour, running and jumping and wall running you get to do. And they have these little holograms that pop up to kind of give you a hint of what you're supposed to do. Lastimosa pops in and out, appearing wherever he needs to be to tell you what to do. You can see the river, this little stream is running upstream. And it's little details like that that continually draw your interest and make what is otherwise a typical training level more interesting.
More people join every day to fight the IMC. People like you. We used to just run and hide from them, but now we chase them.
The timing on the animation for Lastimosa is really nice, so as you're coming through you can see in his posture and in the way he moves and what he's saying that it's starting to inform his character at every turn.
You must be ready to use any weapon you can find on the field. These are just a few of the weapons I've come across out there. Time to hit the range.
This is kind of interesting because immediately up front it gives you access to loads of the weapons in this really kind of artificial way, but it's not afraid to let you just play around with it, so you can just choose any of these and off you go. It's not kind of withholding any of this or saving it for later in the game, it's just straight away pick one of these weapons, have a bit of fun, and it's very confident that you're going to like it and want to keep playing more.
Load your weapon. To get more precision, aim down the sights of your weapon.
So everything you're doing here is very much the kind of thing you'd have done in a million other shooter games, so you're not really learning how to do anything new, but the setting and the visuals and the style of it is quite unusual and quite eye-catching. It makes it feel immediately more interesting and more memorable. You wonder that if they're putting this much effort into the training mission, the tutorial, then what's the main game actually going to be like? Also, if you played Titanfall 1, you're familiar with it being stompy robots and mostly kind of urban or semi-urban environments, so the fact that you're in this kind of beautiful paradise surreal location is unexpected. It's also moving through this really fast. It's not wasting any time. It's imparting character, it's imparting setting, it's teaching you the essentials of how to play the game, but it's also doing it really quickly. And immediately we were given this challenge, which is this area you have to navigate to try and figure out how you're going to use all these different skills that you've already learned. So you've figured out how to wall run, you've figured out how to use weapons and reload, how to crouch, how to slide, all this kind of stuff, how to aim. And it's about trying to figure out the most essential ways and efficient ways of doing it. Because there's all kinds of ways to play Titanfall, some of which are better than others, or at least more satisfying. So this run here I'm doing is pretty basic. I should point out that I'm not a very good Titanfall player, but the game adapts quite nicely. It makes you feel like you're pretty cool, whether you actually are or not. So some of you guys will no doubt be able to aim rather better than me. But even though I'm not particularly great, it feels really excellent. And the game doesn't waste any time in making you feel like a very powerful soldier. And that wasn't particularly great. But you can just try again. And it's interesting that it immediately puts you into this kind of artificial competitive environment. It's already unafraid to kind of take the gloves off and let you actually demonstrate your own skill.
Nice run. See the results board on the wall? You set a new best time. Everyone has different strengths and weaknesses, so be sure to run this a few times with different weapons. Look at the results board for more tips on how to improve. Now that you're warmed up, if you want a real challenge...
So immediately you're given this kind of reason to try it again, and you can run this as many times as you want to try and increase your skills. You're given direct feedback on your performance, and it gives you tips on how to do better, little strategies and tactics you might not have thought of. And you can go and do that if you want, or you can just skip straight into the main story. It's really up to you. And that's about the first 5 minutes up. So in less than 5 minutes it's taught you how to move, it's taught you how to use weapons, how to aim, it's taught you how to combine all those different skills together in a kind of simulated environment, and it's given you good reasons to try to do better. And it's not even got to the big stompy robots yet, or the story, or anything like that, but you'll already have a pretty good idea of whether you are going to like this game or not. I'm not going to show you any more because our 5 minutes are up, and also because there's so many surprises to this campaign that you wouldn't necessarily expect from a big AAA fancy sci-fi robot shooter, that you really should experience it yourself. Try not to find any spoilers, just dive straight in. There you go, that's the first 5 minutes of Titanfall 2.